All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 360 Sports Show. I am Andrew Pizzelli. He is Christian Lauber. Hope everyone had a happy and Merry Christmas and holiday weekend. We are back here at our normal time, Mondays at 7:30. You can reach us anytime through the comment section of any of the live streams on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitter, and Twitch. Christian, let's just start with the Patriots Bills. We have a whole bunch of other things to pick through, but I know this will dominate the show. It's going to be bubbling under the surface, so let's just get it out. The Patriots, with a chance to take real control of the AFC East, lose yesterday to the Buffalo Bills. I know we have conflicting views over what's the story, what the problem was. So I'll just let you kind of lead the way here, and your takeaways and reaction to the Patriots losing to the Buffalo Bills yesterday and ceding control of the AFC East and maybe their playoff destiny.
There's not one problem. There's multiple problems with this team. And it kind of showed true in the last 2 weeks against real competition, upper echelon, AFC, whatever you want to say the Colts are. They're probably better than you are, but maybe with the exception of the quarterback. But Josh Allen picked you apart yesterday. Defense couldn't get off the field most of the day. They're lucky the Bills decided not to take points and kind of throw you a bone and getting nothing. But they had nothing to lose, really, because the offense couldn't move the ball either. So either way you look at it, the Patriots didn't play again. Since the bye here 2 weeks ago. They haven't really played a full game at all. They've probably played about 2.5, 3 quarters in the last 2 games, which in the NFL is not going to get you very far. You're going to lose a lot of games that way. So did everybody overrate them in the 7-game winning streak where everybody was like, okay, the Patriots are back. This is it. Yes, they did. And maybe myself included a little bit. Maybe I got duped a little bit in thinking that they were better than they are. I thought they had the division in hand, and then you have 2 games here. One you got to win, and you lose both of them. And now COVID stuff coming up here against Jacksonville, and you have to go to Miami. So not only do you drop in the standings, but you kind of got to win 2 games here now to make the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, during that 7-game win streak, I have maintained all along. We both have said, what's going to hold this team back? I have said it's the defense. I said I think this defense has fatal flaws. I don't think they're that great against the run, and they have no corner depth. And good teams in better conditions, not 50-mile-an-hour winds notwithstanding, will be able to exploit that. And I think that's what we saw yesterday, which was I agree with you. You can't neither side of the ball played a complete game yesterday for the Patriots. But the offense, even in the games they started slow, starts to find a way eventually. I mean, they're past not only scoring 6 points, 7 points. I mean, they found a way yesterday to get 21 points up on the board, and could have had a chance to get the ball back. The theme in all of their losses this year, and this has been a problem with the defense the whole year, late in a game, need a stop. However, it doesn't matter how you've played for the whole game, just go out there, get a stop when you need to, get the ball back to your offense, and give them a chance. And they haven't done that at all year. Even in the games they won. Look at the San Diego. The Chargers game. Luckily they were up 14 points. And they gave up a drive. And it didn't matter because there was no more time left. But when the defense is needed to get stops, they can't. And to me, that's the bigger story. I mean, just in the microcosm of this year and looking short term with this year and this Patriots team, the defense, I thought all along, was not going to be good enough if you wanted to adjust expectations, which I haven't. I've said 10, 11 wins, make the playoffs now. Once they won 7 games, I said you got to win 10, 11 games, make the playoffs. And then whatever you do from there with a rookie quarterback is gravy. The defense is just not good enough. And I think that's what's been more exposed the last 2 weeks. The offense at no point has been a barn burner. And it's where'd the offense go? The offense is what the offense is. I don't think they've played a complete game offensively all year. I mean, a
The
lot.
Browns game they did.
Yeah, I mean that's the closest thing. You
Yeah,
know,
they
one
scored 45 points.
one game though. One game. I mean, if you're a good team, you're bound to have even
Pats
bad
Browns, I
teams.
think, is the only two.
Even bad teams, you're bound to have. Look at the Texans yesterday. You're bound to have just a day. Um, Defensively, they've beaten up on the bad teams or the poorly coached teams, or they caught teams at the right time. When they've played the real teams, that side of the ball has been the bigger issue. Now, all of that withstanding, yesterday, like I said, they still had a chance. The offense started to find something. They needed to go for like four fourth downs to get some touchdown drives. But they make it 21-14 or 20-14, I think. And then you had 26-21. And I said to you both times, it's like, do you think the defense is going to get a stop? No.
Well, they didn't all day yesterday.
And they had it. Everything going on, they still had a chance. If J.C. Jackson can hang on to a ball, if maybe you decide not to just rush 3 against Josh Allen, who is going to be able to get out of the pocket and beat you. Maybe don't drop your linebackers 8 yards deep and just let everything underneath get caught and run for a first down. I definitely have my problems with the coaching yesterday in the game plan. Outside of any of the stuff that happened in the game with penalties and execution. I just thought it was it was a worse day from the coaching side, I think, of things than the players themselves. I didn't think they were put in the best position to win yesterday. So that's my takeaway. And the defense, like I've said, not good enough. Not going to be good enough.
I immediately go to the coaching on both sides. Like, why do you have to be down 10 points to start throwing the ball and moving the ball, Josh? Like, and number two is on the offensive side, why is N'Keal Harry out there for 68% of the snaps? I'd rather have Kendrick Bourne on 2 days rest. Like, it just made no sense. They're forcing the ball to Harry over and over again. He got picked off once. He dropped another one. The guy can't play that well. He's basically a tight end who blocks. That's basically what he is. He made one catch and looked stumbly fumbly on that one too. It's like they constantly forced this guy the ball yesterday. When Jacoby Myers was over the middle all day, Bourne, when he was out there, the tight ends kind of disappeared. I didn't really get a chance to look at where Henry was lined up. If they're doubling Henry because that's all they have, it would not surprise me one bit. And Damian Harris is hobbled still, so he's not going to run the ball 40 times like he did,
no Stevenson to spell him either.
So I don't know. I think I just don't think coaching was there on either side of the ball. Like the defense didn't stop. I don't think I need to even mention the defense. They literally basically didn't show up yesterday. They didn't get out. They didn't punt. They didn't make them punt once. But also, like, you can't go down 10 points, throw a pick, and expect to win the game either. So it's like they're just not playing as a complete team. Special teams kind of blows too. Like Bailey, I think he might be hurt or something there because he looks off too. When he kicks the ball, there's no hang time. There's no nothing from prior years. So he might be hurt. But
even the coverage, I had this mentioned to me, those kicks like right to the goal line, the 1 yard line, like into the corner. You hope to, hem them in, and they routinely get out to like the 35. It's like you're supposed to like make a play there, and they didn't. And the Bills, for their part, honestly kept the Patriots in the game. I mean, think about the first drive. They go for that 4th down. If Adrian Phillips just stays square and then reads Josh Allen's eyes, he's there to either intercept, deflect, or at least influence a wider throw, which could be incomplete on a 4th down. And the Bills would have come up empty on a massive, like 8-minute long, opening drive. And later in the game, going for it, not getting it, or just take points when you've got that pick, and it's like, yes, you're up 3. You want to be up 10, but if you go up 6 against this team, the offense with a rookie quarterback, you put the pressure on a little bit. All these, the analytics there's no variable for pressure to compute what, those extra 3 points will do early in a game to an opposing team. So the Bills honestly kept the Patriots in it at times. They were a little bit complicit because honestly that game didn't feel close. It got to a 5-point game late in the 4th quarter, but I know for me and you, we both were like, it's not close because they're not going to get stopped. And the Bills know that they're just going to keep going for it. Like, you had to have, like, 4th and 10 was probably going to be the only way that, and inside, like, the 35, you had to get, like, an immediate stop was probably the only way you were going to force a punt. Anything 4th and 5, if I was the Bills, I'm like, we'll just run everybody deep and somebody across the middle, and if nothing's there, hey, Josh, take off and run. You can beat their linebackers. They're slow and old.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, that's what he did all day. I mean, Josh Allen was the best player on the field yesterday. I mean, I think he's getting a little too much praise. There's a lot of holes there. McKenzie was wide open all day long,
Yeah.
but he still made some plays. And I also thought the Patriots were complicit in making him look like an MVP candidate because he's going to his right, throwing back across his body to the left, wobbly ball over the middle,
Oh,
and
I know.
Bentley is nowhere to be found. So, or pick a linebacker. The only person on the field I thought that had a good day was Kyle Van Noy. Outside of that, there wasn't much there. J.C.
Yeah.
Jackson, your number one corner, was pretty dreadful yesterday too. So
Yeah. This is Colin in the comment section. Nothing has seemed right for the Patriots since the bye week. It's like they hit the reset button and now they've taken 2 to 3 steps back. It's very disappointing discouraging seeing that happen, especially against good teams. Going 1 for 10 on 3rd down looked terrible. Almost everything looked like it did in their first handful of games. Like I said last week, if you lost this game, it's a huge momentum killer. How are we supposed to have confidence in them going forward? Well, that's my question to you, Christian. What is the chances of the Patriots making the playoffs now? Because that's been my thing right along. I mean, they had their shot here to if they won out, and just had this crazy win streak of being a number 1 seed, or at least winning the division. But I think right along, if you win 10, 11 games and you make the playoffs, that's a huge accomplishment for what this team is and kind of how they starting 1 and 3, 2 and 4, and turning it around, finding a way to at least put that win streak together. And hey, you're in the playoffs with a rookie quarterback, and that's kind of like, at that point, you just cut it loose and say what happens, happens. I think there's still a great shot of that happening. Miami could lose tonight, and that helps you a lot. All these other teams are losing games. The Ravens are obviously falling apart, and the Chargers lost to the Texans yesterday. So you have other teams helping you out. I think their chances are still good. I think they make the playoffs and don't win a game. That's kind of my just expectations. I want to see them make it and be in that game and get that experience for Mac Jones. That's their ceiling, I think, right now. And I think it's likely, just given who they're playing. As long as that game in Miami doesn't mean something. If you have to win that game to get in, and Miami has a chance to make the playoffs if they win, that's a scary spot to be in. But I don't think that'll be the case.
yeah, I don't know. Like rookie quarterback and all that is nice making the playoffs, yippee. But you were, I don't know, feasibly having to go 3-1 down the stretch against some subpar competition. I guess. I mean, competition that you should be better than. All you had to do was beat the Colts or the Bills. One of those games you had to win, and then take care of the other two, which you should be able to beat. I mean, theoretically. I mean, the Dolphins are on a streak. They haven't really played anyone great. So I'd like to see what it looks like here tonight, and then going forward, see what it looks like the last week of the season. They've turned it around, but considering going into the bye week, you're like, okay, maybe they might have a chance here to get into the playoffs and win a game. And it's gone the complete opposite direction here because you played some real teams in the AFC that you could potentially see in the playoffs. Either Indy or Bills are possible. And it just didn't really look all that good. So I don't know if it was the bye week and then they had bad practice or what it was, but now for me, it's like you got to get in. If you lose one of these next 2 games and don't get into the playoffs, that's a fail in my opinion, considering where you were before the bye week or going into the bye week. So I mean, if you don't make the playoffs at this point and win, 10, 11 games here, yeah, not good enough. Whether you have a rookie quarterback or not, I don't care. Like you were in a position to take the division and have a playoff game, potentially home playoff game. And you kind of flopped here at the end. So it's like you played 7 games in the middle of the year, good. But outside of that, what were you?
Yeah. And that's the thing, is like the schedule has a lot to do with that. If they played Tampa in, week 9 and the Cowboys in week 15 and you played Atlanta and Cleveland and some of these other teams earlier, and would we feel any different? Would we feel better? Actually, would it be worse? The Patriots were 9-1, like they were in 2019. 9-0, and then they finish what? 11-5 in 2019, 10-6. I'm trying to remember what their record was in 2019. And then you lose to the Titans at home,
Right.
in Brady's final game in New England. So I don't know. I just look at it like they are what they are, and I'm more disappointed in what I see as scheme and coaching breakdowns, as opposed to things happening in the game, because I never thought that the defense was good enough and that the offense would just come along. Now I do agree, and again, maybe this is scheme. Where were your tight ends yesterday?
Is the offense coming along, though? That's kind of the more disappointing thing, is they really aren't going anywhere. It's been very steady as you go until you're down 17 or 10 points, and then maybe you turn it on a little bit.
Yeah, but I also think if they're not in a position to just like throw it every down and spread them out. Now, I do think Mac looks good. I mean, when they go hurry up, I think he looks comfortable. I think that's his comfort zone is just moving fast. I think they want to try and still have a ball control offense, especially with the power they do have with their running game.
He had a rating yesterday of 39 and a rating and a stat rating of 31.4. That's not good enough. You have to be in like the middle of the pack if you're going to win some of these games. I mean, you have to be better than that.
Yes, that goes without saying. Yesterday was bad, but I'm saying the offense being bad and the defense not showing up is worse. I want to know yesterday the offense, where were the tight ends? I mean, was Hunter Henry getting doubled on every play? There's a problem when the Bills early on were still like they were ready for the Patriots just to try and run them over again. And I wonder if the Patriots just thought that they would be able to do that again. Hey, they're not going to commit as many people to the run because it's better conditions, and maybe we can just run right over them again. But there was a point where like you saw them creeping up. They had a lot of guys along the line of scrimmage, and they would go play action, and nobody's open. Like you should be able. The idea is you get all of those guys up, you fake it, you turn. Oh, look, the tight end is wide open down the seam. Boom, 20-yard game. Quick, nice and crisp. And it looked nothing. It all looked out of sorts. I don't know if maybe we're underrating how much Kendrick Bourne means to the offense and how much he's meant.
He means more than N'Keal Harry.
But that is definitely, now looking long term, what is some critical needs in the offseason for this team? Depth at corner and upgrading your wide receiver core. I know they went out and signed Bourne and they signed Aguilar. Aguilar's been a disappointment, and you need something better. I mean, Jacoby Myers is a good player, but he is a fourth option, ideally. You need better receivers, so Matt can have somebody to throw to.
I think Myers is probably a reliable number 3, but either way, I mean, it would be nice to upgrade the position. Aguilar would have helped you yesterday, whether he's been a disappointment or not. N'Keal Harry playing more percentage of the snaps than Hunter Henry and Kendrick Bourne is just disappointing to me. It felt like a plan that McDaniels had where, well, N'Keal Harry was on the field last time we played them and we ran, so now we're going to pass to him and it's going to look utterly dog water. So, like, it's just there's just the game plan on the offense, like the defense, I think sucked all day. We know that, but the offensive game plan wasn't good either. And Mac Jones completing 14 out of 32 is not good. I mean, he targeted Hunter Henry 6 times, and he overthrew him twice and threw it at his shoe tops once. So, like, I think yes, he's a rookie. I understand that. I'm not saying he's bad, but if you're going to win some games, he's got to be better. It's just like the last few weeks he has not been good, and he's just like everybody wants to anoint him as like Tom Brady's second coming. It's just not realistic. Number one, and number two, like
I never did that.
The game,
I never did that. Just for the record.
No, but you bought his shirt and you're like ready to pump him up to the Hall of Fame already. But he's like, he has not been that good either. You expect him to be a rookie, right? Sure. But he's got to be somewhere in the middle. Like if he's number 15 in the league in passing or whatever you want to call it, right in the middle, I would say that's pretty good. 15 to 20 maybe here for a rookie season, pretty good, but he has not been that in the last few weeks.
Yeah. No, he hasn't. I look at it like it's year one, and what do we want to see in year one? And I think in terms of production, like I saw somebody post a stat about, again, so stupid, comparing like his stats through this season compared to Cam Newton last year, and passing wise, there it's kind of almost the same. Mac has more passing touchdowns, but interceptions are close, and obviously Mac doesn't have 12 rushing touchdowns, which Cam had. But it's like
You just can't have it both ways. Like you hear
he's a
people
rookie
say,
quarterback.
yeah, no, but you can't have it both ways. You can't say when he has a bad game, well, he's a rookie, but when he has a great game, he's Tom Brady. It's just that you can't have it both ways.
I have never said he's Tom Brady.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying there are people that do this.
Oh, there are.
You understand that?
So there are, and I think we have both tried to say that you can't do that. And after the Falcons game, I think after the Falcons game, that was when people said, "Oh, you won one game, you beat the Browns, and then you went and beat the Falcons on Thursday Night Football. That could have been the trap game." And, what can this team be? And everybody was getting started. That was when the excitement was starting to build. 25-0. Oh. And I said, listen, we can either say this is going to be a good team that has some flaws that I think could get exposed, but we should just enjoy the ride, the fact that they're competing in games.
Yep.
If you want to take this and swallow the Kool-Aid and say, this team could go to the Super Bowl, and the Patriots are back, and Mac Jones is Tom Brady, then if you're expecting that, you're going to be really disappointed because there's still big problems on this roster that have been evident since the moment Jonathan Jones went down. It was like, this could be a problem because now Jalen Mills is playing out of position. And then you had more injuries. And then you saw more guys get exposed. And now you got Miles Bryant. Where's Joanne Williams? Where's Sean Wade? Where are these guys?
I thought that was a little bit weird that you benched Joanne Williams yesterday, made him inactive. I didn't really understand that to begin with because I don't think Bryant is much of anything, especially in man situations. He just got shredded all day.
Yeah. And so I for the people who have said, like, who were riding that hype train that much, if you're expecting them to win a playoff game or get to the Super Bowl, have you seen some of the problems on defense? Have you seen that outside, if they can't just run the ball and play from ahead, the offense doesn't really score more than 21, 24 points a game? And if you don't have a real top 5 defense, you're not going to win playoff games that way. So I haven't changed. I haven't ridden that wave because I just thought I'm just enjoying this them competing. Because last year we didn't have it. Last year the team sucked. We knew they sucked. It got to the point, Christian, where we were both actively rooting for them to lose, hoping that Cam would get benched so we could at least see what Jared Stidham had. I picked them to lose to the Jets last year in the final game of the season. That's how bad that team was. So enjoy the fact that you're relevant, and you're not one of these franchises that fell into complete, squalor. They're not winning a Super Bowl, and I don't think they're winning a Super Bowl next year. We've just wanted to see a progression, with a rookie quarterback, and you maximize that window. You've got 4 or 5 years with him on a rookie deal. Put weapons around him, rebuild that defense, and now you got something. But, and just in terms of this year, just enjoy the games themselves and the fact that they're competitive. Now,
you enjoyed that yesterday?
This is what I'm going to say. Not that I'm just going to roll over and say, woo, whatever. It's not whatever. Obviously, they've had some missed opportunities here, but it's just illustrating the point that nobody should be expecting this team to get to or win a Super Bowl.
How about you don't tell me what to do, okay? The last 2 weeks have not been enjoyable. Don't tell me to enjoy it.
I'm not telling you to enjoy the games. I'm telling you to enjoy the season. There's a difference.
I was enjoying it. The beginning of the year was bad. Middle was pretty good. End of the year, bad again. So here we are.
I'll tell you what, Christian, that Dolphins game, first game of the year, is going to really come back and bite the Patriots, huh?
Was it wrong?
Colin in the comment section. Uche and Bentley are nice pieces, but it's clear that Winovich. Oh yeah, where's Chase Winovich? Isn't going to be a part of their future core linebacker. They need 1 to 2 more playmakers at the position, but I agree. Cornerback depth, wide receiver upgrades, and linebacker. I mean, not just corner, safety. I mean, Devin McCourty has lost a step. Is this his last year? Could be. I mean, Adrian Phillips isn't a spring chicken either, and he's more of a strong safety. You need a true, free safety, which McCourty has been really good at. Um,
Juwan Williams is going to be your free safety eventually, I would guess.
Yeah. Him and who is it that is so bad I actually seared their name out of my memory that was on the field in Super Bowl 52 getting torched, and we were like, why is this guy out there on the field? Stupid project player who one of these ones who Bill picks, and then it was like, well, we got to play him because I picked him high. Oh, God.
I don't even remember.
I'm going to have to look.
How bad it was.
I have seared him out of my brain, the name so bad. I'll look it up, but I know you I think you kind of danced around it, Christian. I've said yes, the Patriots will make the playoffs. Are you a yes or you a no? And you can't say you're gonna wait and see. You got to tell me right now. Yes.
I'm gonna wait and see. I will say yes because I feel like they should. There's no way you lose to both Jacksonville and Miami, and in fact, you should easily beat both of them. So, well, maybe not easily for Miami, but Jacksonville should be a cakewalk. I don't care who you are; they're not playing well, and they haven't been good all year. So that should be, should be a cakewalk. And then Miami could be a tough game, but I still think you're a better team than them, and you should be. So if Mac Jones, is who he is, and they throw the ball a little bit more, then I'd like the Patriots to make the playoffs. Yes.
I just found out two. There's two of them. Colin pulled one. Tavon Wilson and Jordan Richards. Those are the two people.
Jordan Richards, yeah, that's a good one.
Seared out of my brain. No, James Ahedebo. That was 2010, 2011. He was actually a good player. He was always hurt. It's like his shoulder was always falling out after every single hit. You'd see him like going off to the sideline. Like, oh, that's it. He's finally done. Nope, they must have duct taped his shoulder back together because he's out there again. James Ahedebo was. I would have rather have James Ahedebo over Tavon Wilson and Jordan Richards. Thank you very much.
Wise not in this game on Sunday?
He's another one.
Is he on the COVID list though? For this game?
May have been.
Because he's someone I didn't notice that really helped you in the first meeting. Now the weather was bad, but he was a big part of that. He bat some balls down, and not that he was going to make a difference, but
let me see.
Yesterday anyway. But him and Uche, I have not seen much. Well, I think he's on the COVID list, but Uche is coming off injured reserve. I don't know what I'm trying to say. He should be coming off injured reserve. So
yeah, he went on the COVID list on Christmas Day. He went. Dietrich Wise and Uche went on the COVID list.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I want to see more of Josh Uche because I don't like the linebackers just look really slow. I feel like he could help you somewhere.
I agree. Let's take a gander here at the rest of the playoff picture in the NFL. The NFC, I mean, the final slotting yet to be determined, but pretty much it's very close to being settled who's in. So these are the teams that are in the NFC. And this is in order of, first seed down. Right now, Packers your number 1 seed. Then you get the Cowboys, the Rams, the Buccaneers, and the Cardinals, who, despite having just talk about a team, now that's a team that had legitimate expectations. I did say I thought they were the best team, maybe not just in the NFC, but they have completely fallen apart in all phases. I know they've had injuries, but the Cardinals are just yikes, heading in a really wrong direction. But they're going to make the playoffs. They've clinched a playoff berth. In the hunt, you've got at 8-7. At 8-7, right now you're 6 and 7 seeds, and then the teams that are still technically alive, The Saints, who are playing tonight, the Vikings and Falcons at 7-8. Man, the Falcons still alive. And then
Not really though.
the Washington football team, 6-9, but that's whatever the math is. That's not likely. But you got the 8-7, 8-7 for the Eagles and Niners, the Saints and Vikings. I mean, it's those two teams. You could see that's your little grouping there. The AFC is much more up for grabs. The Chiefs are your number one seed. Then you've got in the hunt. Not yet to clinch a spot, but I think we feel pretty confident about these next four teams being in the playoffs. Titans, Bengals, Bills, Colts. Then you've got the next group. The Patriots and the Ravens, 6 and 7 spot. Obviously, I think the Patriots have the best chance based off the schedule that they have remaining. And the Ravens are just completely tanking. Then you've got the Chargers and the Raiders, both 8 and 7. The disappointment. They got blown out by the Texans, which was scary to see. And then you've got the Dolphins, Steelers, Browns, Broncos, all 7 and 8, or soon to be. Who knows? Dolphins tonight, 8 and 7. I gotta think they might jump up to the 8th spot, or maybe into 7. I'm not even. They might jump up to 7. I'm not sure with the math and the tiebreakers. Christian, in the AFC, I think we said we feel confident 1 through 5. But in this next grouping, you got Patriots, Ravens, Chargers, Raiders, Dolphins. And we'll throw the Steelers in there too. Who do you feel most confident about getting those last 2 spots?
Should be New England. And out of those teams, probably the Chargers. However, if the Dolphins win tonight, they might be the team that makes it.
Yeah. Dolphins tonight are playing the New Orleans Saints, who had to go out and sign Blake Bortles. And they have something named Ian Book, I think, starting tonight, correct?
You cut out there for me, sorry.
Oh, I'm saying the Dolphins, the Saints tonight are starting Ian Book, I believe.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I saw him warming up.
So, I mean,
their defense is still legit, though, so who knows? I mean, I still think they have some talent anyway. I don't know how legit they are, I guess, but they're at least not terrible on defense, so it should be relatively competitive from that standpoint. But you have a rookie going, who the hell knows? I mean, anything can happen at that point.
Yeah. Nick says in the comment section, I know we're talking about the Pats right now, but the Chargers are the only team that can take the Chiefs to overtime and then get blown out by the Texans. Yeah. They're a team that I think started, 3-1 and was feeling themselves and has not played consistent since.
Mm-hmm.
They got the Chiefs while the Chiefs were down, and that was all like, ooh, wow, like, are the Chargers for real? And then we realized that the Chiefs were playing poor, and now the Chargers have kind of come back to mediocrity.
Chargers have made strides this year, though. Like, everybody wants it. Like,
have they though?
Yeah. What was their record last year? They weren't even close to the playoffs. They lost like 80 million games in the last 2 minutes.
I think they were 4-12 last year. I'll pull up the.
Yeah. So last I checked, 8 wins is better than 4, and I believe this is Staley's first year. So they still have a ways to go based on their roster and everything, but they've at least played decently compared to last year, in my opinion.
So wait a minute. The Chargers win 4 games. They've won 8 now, getting blown out by a team that's headed for a top pick, potentially. And you say
Mills, pretty good player.
And you say they've made strides. You feel confident what they're doing. The Patriots win 7 games last year, have already won 9, could win 11, have a rookie quarterback, have roster issues, same as the Chargers. Yeah, I don't feel the same amount of positivity or positive outlook for the Patriots as you do here for the Chargers.
What's positive about making strides? They're winning. They won 8 games. They could win 9 or 10.
Okay,
compared to 4. Like, we knew the Patriots weren't going to win games last year with Cam Newton. The Chargers are making strides because they have a stud quarterback.
Okay, that's what it is. You're just in love with Justin Herbert.
No, I think you are in love with Mac Jones and the Patriots for some reason.
For some reason, they're my team. Um,
Well, there you go. You just
I
yeah.
want to pull up. Let's see, full schedule. All right, I'm gonna look quickly here. Oh man, I hate the way NFL.com displays this. This
You
is
also have to look at the two
brutal.
teams. I mean, the Patriots were here in the division, ready to take over, and then you lost 2 games in a row. So, how am I supposed to look at that?
Colin does make a good point. The Chargers didn't just spend $250 million in the
Hmm.
offseason.
Hmm. Interesting.
Uh, let's see. This is the Chargers season so far. Beat Washington, lose to Dallas close, beat the Chiefs, beat the Raiders, beat the Browns, get smoked by the Ravens, lose to the Patriots close, beat the Eagles, lose to the Vikings close. Oh god, yeah, that crazy game versus the Steelers that they won. Then they get stomped by the Broncos. Ick. Beat the Bengals. Beat the Giants. Get stomped by the Chiefs. Get stomped by the Texans. And so now 2 games left. They play Denver and then they play the
Weren't they
Raiders.
close with the Chiefs both games? Didn't they beat them once?
They
Stomped by 6 points. That's an
no
interesting
no
stomping.
they won 30-24.
Yeah, and then you said they got stomped by the Chiefs. Didn't
Yeah,
they
they
lose 34-28?
yeah, but they were down most of that game. I thought, right?
No, it was close all the way, pretty much.
I thought they were down. Oh wait, this one went to overtime. I don't know which game I'm thinking of.
The Texans.
Oh no, I'm thinking of the Raiders Chiefs game. That's what I'm thinking of. That was an absolute.
Oh well, yeah, the Raiders. Yeah,
The Raiders.
somehow 8-7.
But I think there's good comparisons between the teams. Obviously, Justin Herbert, different quarterback than Mac Jones. He's obviously a step above him, and was a step above him in his rookie year. But I think there's some comparisons to be drawn. I mean, look at the seasons. I mean, this is very similar. I mean, this weekend, well, not this weekend, but the last 2 weeks, very similar situation for both teams. Hey, maybe this team's for real. Maybe this is, they have a chance to take control of their division and make some noise in the AFC, and you lose to your division rival who you'd beaten earlier in the year, and then you get smoked by a non-division team.
Yeah, I mean, I think coming off the high from Kansas City, almost winning that game, collapsing there, then you come out next week and just lay a dud. I mean, I can't say I'm surprised that an NFL team did that because that's what they do, but yeah, I just look at it where the two teams have been. Like, I don't think the Chargers realistically were going to take the division over Kansas City. I just don't think that's a realistic thing. And Herbert's what, second year, third year, second year, you think, but
Yeah.
it just looks a lot different. And the reason you say I'm not positive enough for you for the Patriots because they were 9-4, ready to kind of take the division. You just had to win 3 games maybe out of 4, and then you lose 2 in a row to pretty good teams. And that was a real big test, and they didn't look all that good. So that's where the frustration lands. I mean, I think it's. I also am not, head over the heels for the Chargers like I am the Patriots. So I watch the Patriots more closely and looking at it as you can win the division and you have a chance to be maybe a number 2 seed in the division in year 1 with Mac Jones. This looks good to now being 5 or 6 and maybe almost out of the playoffs. I don't know. That looks a little different.
Yeah. We will. Oh, before we get to hot and not, NFC wise, just to flip back to that side, even though it's mostly settled, I will say I got not a lot of confidence in any of those teams. I mean, the Packers, right? 12-3, probably going to be your number 1 seed. Aaron Rodgers is really banged up. It's a testament to his talent that you can still go out there with him like that and win games, but I'm very concerned about his durability. The Cowboys, while probably the team that's in the best position, you just don't trust them because it's the Cowboys and Mike McCarthy. And then the team has issues. The Cardinals have just totally tailspin. The Buccaneers are hurt and banged up. The Rams, I don't believe in Matt Stafford yet. He hasn't come through yet. He's had a couple of those like, ooh, this could be his. Nope, not yet. Um,
There are two teams in the NFC that I think are ready to kind of make a step, and that's the Rams. Not because of Matt Stafford. I think you do need the quarterback ultimately, but in the playoffs, it's a little bit of a different game, and their defense is legit, man. Like they between Ramsey and Aaron Donald up front, Von Miller at least is making some type of an impact. I mean, OBJ has actually done some things for them in the end zone, which has been good for them. They kind of needed since Robert Woods went down. And then Tampa is the team to beat. I mean, I don't care what their record is or how banged up they are. You get into the playoffs with Tom Brady on your team, you're gonna be there in the end. Aaron Rodgers is doing enough this year to make you think he's going to get to the title game again and then crap himself. I mean, that's what he does. So I have no faith in the Packers, even though they're 7-0 at home and
yeah,
kind of ripping through everybody.
yeah, and a built-in excuse with the toe injury.
Yeah, not COVID toe though. He told us that.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be Chiefs Cowboys. I think that's probably the most likely. I just don't know if
I don't trust the Cowboys at all.
I don't trust them, but
they should be. I think they should be ready to kind of take step in the whole conference. I think the Cowboys should be there because you look at their roster, and I think Dak Prescott he's kind of teetered a little bit since I don't know if I think he went down with an injury, but he's been really good overall. And if he didn't get hurt, maybe he's an MVP conversation. They should be there in the end. I just don't have any faith that they will be.
Yeah. We will get to some NBA news after Hot and Not. Colin already priming us for that. Some promising news for tonight's Celtics game. Marcus Smart is out.
Why is he out? Laceration on his hand again?
Is it really? I mean, I know he was dealing with a hip thing before Christmas Day. I didn't know if it was just like they decided to just shut him down.
Maybe that was just a troll. I don't know. I didn't see it, but
Colin also says, unfortunately, so is Tatum because he's in COVID protocol.
Again, yeah.
Regardless, I've stopped watching the Celtics.
This says Marcus Smart is out because of a right hand laceration. How did that happen?
Smacking a picture frame? I hope not.
Yeah, right.
I hope not. So anyway, let's get to our Hot and Not. And I will keep it with the Boston Celtics here on the hot list for bringing back 41-year-old Joe Johnson on a 10-day contract. I thought this was awesome when I saw it because you got to see all the highlights of his rookie year in Boston, seeing him wearing the number 31, subsequently retired in honor of Cedric Maxwell, NBA 1981 NBA Finals MVP Cedric Maxwell. Got to make sure he would want you to state that. And color commentator now on the radio with Sean Grandy. And it was really great during Joe Johnson's little introductory little press conference. He did a little presser, and Cedric Maxwell, I don't know if you saw this, came in and busted into it. And he was like, "Hey, the real 31's here. Real 31's here," and they were going back, "Oh, cornbread, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I was asking if we could dust off that 31 and pull it out of the rafters for me." I just thought that was, if you haven't seen that, we'll retweet it on our Twitter at 360 Sports Show. It was just a real funny interaction, and it was a good thing. Pretty much the only good thing that happened for the Celtics this week. I know they got I think they beat Cleveland, shorthanded, and then Christmas Day was a kind of another fourth quarter debacle. But it's tough to gauge with, you're only playing 6 guys, and now guys who are in that game were sick. And
I'll be honest, I think it's funny that Brad Stevens was fired. They're the exact same group. He took all the fall, and he was like, I blamed him some, but I said, we know it's not his fault totally, but that's exactly where you start the coach, right? You fire the coach. How's it look? That's the same team.
Yeah. But that was a little bright spot, something that I enjoyed from the past week with that included the Boston Celtics. So that was on my hot list for this week. Christian, what is hot for you?
I didn't prepare for the hot again. I always have about
You have so many knots.
I have about 7 knots. It should just be called for me the knot and knot. But I would say The hot for me is going to be Davis Mills based on his performance yesterday. I think he can actually play. He actually seems like anyway. Now I didn't watch the game through and through, but he was pretty good yesterday. They beat the Chargers, and for a rookie, another rookie that was drafted in what, the third round, I think he was taken.
Yep.
They might have something there, whether it's a trade piece or whatever. They might have something there in him, and I think he was kind of scouted coming out of college as like that second, third round Jimmy G type pick. Let me see if I can get his rating and stuff. But he was really good yesterday, and obviously they put up 41 points. So, yeah, pretty good day for Davis Mills, along with old friend Rex Burkhead.
Yeah, I mean, people thought that him or Kellen Mond, that could have been the Patriots' kind of option. Hey,
Yeah.
you brought Cam back, draft for need, draft a guy, draft Kwity Paye. Go
Yeah,
after a generational type defensive talent who Bill Belichick would just, lust after, and then draft one of these third or fourth, round quarterbacks. And you play Cam, you see if one of these guys has got it, and then, next offseason, maybe you try and lure Matt Ryan here. People thought maybe the Patriots, maybe you'll be in on Matt Stafford. He's probably going to want out. Though these were all the types of conversations that were happening. I'm kind of happy with where they are. I mean, I think they've definitely Mac Jones is going to be the starter for the next 4 or 5 years. He's going to have to improve. I think if Mac as he is this year is Mac for the next 5 years, then it's 5 years and see ya, or probably sooner than that. Yeah, Davis Mills definitely showing. This is the type of thing where a guy has just a couple of big games in a year. I mean, look at Matt Schaub. He had one huge game against the Patriots as a backup with the Falcons, and he turned that into like a 10-year career because teams just kept giving him contracts, and he would have one or two big games now and again, and he'd get paid. So Davis Mills definitely proven that he belongs.
Yeah, good NFL player so far, rookie year, right? Rookie quarterback, we can't criticize him, so he's been really, really good.
What do you have on the not list? Is what you sent me in the private chat? The
Yeah,
not?
because I just saw it happen. It literally just happened a few minutes ago, and I just the person was okay.
8-11. So it's like this is a breaking knot. So yeah,
I was gonna go a different direction, but this came up on my feed, and I just had to put it in the knot.
All right, let's share
It's too
this.
funny not to, and the person was okay, so it is funny.
So this is, I guess, Christian Wood. So I think hit somebody with a pass. So let's go ahead and play.
Left some meat on the bone. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Hope everyone's okay.
Oh man. Let's run that back. I know they'll probably replay. So Wood gets the rebound.
Left some meat on the bone.
I mean, that's a really bad pass, and then just decks that person in the stands. Look at his reaction.
That went truly into the second.
Oh my God, that poor girl.
She's okay though, so that's why I put it in there.
I mean, he should go over there. Well, what do you say? My bad. Yeah, dude. Of course. Nobody doesn't know that it's your bad.
Even if it doesn't hit a fan, like who was that to? What a pass!
I mean, I hope they just went and gave her like, hey, follow us. You're gonna get comped.
Yeah, right?
Something.
You get a ticket to next week's game.
Boink! Oh my God, that hurts.
Oh yeah,
that hurts. Yeah. I mean, that thing is a rocket, too.
That is a stinger.
Concussion protocol. Oh my gosh.
Big yikes on that pass.
Yikes.
In bowling, we call that a strike. Amen, Colin. Amen.
Oh my goodness. Well, my not. Just in general, again, NFL officials on the not list again. Because I really, the job I don't think is that hard. It is a hard job. It is. And a lot of times, 90-something% of the time, these guys make calls in real time that are incredibly difficult. You'll say like, oh, they called that a catch, and you go look like, wow, yeah, he dragged the feet. Like, that was a good job by the officials. Or sometimes crews will do they get together, they discuss something. What did you see? What did you see? And they get the call right. And we have replay to help fix a lot of things where things fall through the cracks. Yet, and this did not cost the Patriots the game, but it just bothers me when things like this happen because it will cost somebody a game down the line. And things like this have cost teams games. Patriots are not. It makes me angry when I see bad officiating just as a fan of a league, in all leagues.
Boy, have you seen some bad officiating this
3
year.
weeks ago, Josh Allen is running for a first down. He jumps in the air as he's heading out of bounds. Miles Bryant puts his hands on him while he's still in the field of play, and they give him a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. And it's like, come on. The dude's trying to go for the first down. He's making a play on him. He's still physically, he's not out of bounds yet. Well, by the, they wanted to, by the letter of the law, he contacted him and where he wound up out of bounds. Fine. Yesterday, you have Mac Jones run out of the pocket, go out of bounds, is 3 steps out of bounds, and a Bills player not only pushes him. If it'd be one thing if it was like push from behind just as his foot hits the chalk and he's heading out of bounds and there's no need to push him, but you push him and he goes down hard, and you could say like, they should call that, but if they don't, you kind of get it. No, grabbed him, physically has a hold of Mac Jones. You could say maybe he was trying to hold him up, but pulls him down from behind awkwardly and catches his leg brace in the ground. And they throw the flag and then decide to conference and decide what? That he wasn't out of bounds? No. Oh, maybe was he trying to hold him up? Doesn't matter. You don't judge intent. This is what Belichick was fumed at 2 weeks ago in the Colts game. You contact an official, it's black and white. You're out. It doesn't matter if you got pushed into him. It doesn't matter if, you didn't mean it. You touch an official, you're gone. Same deal with this. You hit a guy that far out of bounds, it's an easy flag. I don't know why, and then that just caused Trent Brown then taunting.
Yeah, can we say that's the dumbest call in sports right now?
And Brown should have known better because they are calling it, and you saw David Andrews get fumed at him like, dude, why? What we don't know what he was saying. He's yelling something to the Bills defense as they're getting ready to line up.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Hold on.
I understand you hurt your team, but the taunting thing, so what?
But that's what I'm saying. So then later, Mac Jones gets hit late. They throw the flag. Andrews comes in to push a guy and get him away from his quarterback. You want to see that. Yeah, fight for your guy. Stand up for your quarterback. And they throw him a flag for taunting too. It's like, what are we doing as officials? What is the point of this?
Well, that's why I say, like, you put David
You're
Andrews
losing control. You're just having no self-awareness of what's going on in the game.
Well, you also put David Andrews in an impossible situation. So if he doesn't stand up for his quarterback, right, he's just an a-hole, and why didn't he stand up for his quarterback? But if he does, then he gets flagged 15 yards and hurts his team.
Yeah.
So I saw some reporters saying, like, oh, that was stupid by Andrews. No, it wasn't. He's standing up for his quarterback, and I guess, yeah, oh, wow, it's dumb. He hurt his team. But if he doesn't, then everybody calls him, well, he's not a great teammate.
Yeah. Yeah. It just infuriates me, and because all that stems from poor officiating and just not having, and week to week, we still cannot decide what pass interference is. These sorts of plays, guys decide to just conference and then change calls when something was blatant and it's right there and it's easy. The ones that are easy, that are black and white, they're screwing up. And I'm with Bill. I know people don't want to hear it. Can we just review everything? If you're going to make subjective calls like that and decide to, let's decide intent and let's try and really think about this and let's huddle for 5 minutes to decide that Mac Jones wasn't 5 yards out of bounds when he got pulled down. A horse collar, by the way. You could say it wasn't a late hit, but it was a horse collar.
I mean, it wasn't even really a horse collar from Hughes, but like he grabbed his jersey when Mac Jones was jogging out of bounds. You don't need to touch him at all. Stay away from him.
Yeah.
Let him walk out of bounds. It's not like he's taken off and he's like, running at the speed of a cheetah. Like, let's be real here.
Yeah.
He's already over the out of bounds line. You just leave him. He's off to the side. Leave him alone. Instead, he puts his hands on him, grabs him, and pulls him down. So he pulled him down from behind. He didn't get in his pads or anything, but still, it's like half horse collar, half not. Just don't touch him. There's no reason to make a play there out of bounds. It's just stupid. And then you pick up the flag, which is just asinine.
Yeah, I don't get it. Colin says taunting is at the very least the dumbest to create a point of emphasis on during a season.
Agreed, 100%.
For grown men getting paid millions of dollars to fight each other. Essentially.
Literally saying words or yelling at an opponent, a team against you on the other side of the field, is a point towards disqualification. Like, what are we doing here, NFL?
Yeah. Who wanted to see that? Yes, I do agree that they a couple of years ago, worked in like, hey, if we hear certain words on the field, we're going to call that unsportsmanlike conduct. And unsportsmanlike conduct has existed for forever. It's a good blanket penalty at any point during a game. An official you know it when you see it. If something is just, that wasn't right, or unnecessary roughness, unsportsmanlike conduct. Those need no other definition. You know it when you see it. An official wants to say, hey, that crossed the line. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Hey, what did you say? Something that goes beyond trash talk. Like, something like, that was racist.
Well, yeah, that's
right?
different.
Hey,
yeah, that's different.
I'm flagging that.
Mhm.
If a guy just gets up and goes, yeah, woo! Oh, sorry, you taunted him. You taunted that grown man. That big, fast grown man. You taunted him, and his feelings might be hurt.
Yeah, or get the hell away from my quarterback. Like, what? Like, that's really that bad now.
It just, I don't get it.
Especially the reason it's so weird is because the NFL calls stuff like when you breathe on Aaron Rodgers or someone, they'll call kind of like a fake, roughing the passer. But then a guy's going out of bounds and he's tackled from behind and pulled down after he's 3 steps out of bounds. It's not a flag. It's like the inconsistency. Like, I see robots shooting threes. I think it's in China or somewhere overseas. Their robots are coming for the NFL refs. They're coming for them. They're going to take their jobs, and that's going to be it.
Yeah. Well, why can't we just review everything? It honestly won't take that long. You want to, if a coach wants to review for a penalty and wants to challenge. They get to do it once, and it's over. The games take 3.5, almost 4 hours anyways, between commercials and everything else. So what is that one extra play if a coach decides that was a absolutely horrific call, and I want you to review it and apply this rule? And at least put it under the microscope. But then again, you'd have somebody make a mistake because it's still the human element. Colin says, it's one thing to get in someone's face hardcore after a big play or a score, but this was just Brown talking big time smack right after breaking from the huddle to the other line after being agitated from a terrible call from the other ref after an act of aggression against his QB. That's silly. Yes, Trent Brown's was stupid. That you should know better. It's well past the moment. It hurt you more than the non-call because it took you out of, it put you behind in the chains, and that basically took 3 points off the board that you could have gone and gotten at minimum.
Yeah, I think Brown was dumb, but I still put something on the refs. I'm sorry. Like, yes, guys are going to go nuts when you don't call something blatant as that, especially after you throw a flag on the ground and then pick it up. How does that work? I don't understand that. Someone saw a penalty and then they picked it up. It doesn't make any sense. So I'd be pissed off too.
Yeah. Like Belichick says, you're trying to judge intent. That's not the point. He's out of bounds. We don't judge intent. So, anywho,
I'm telling you, I think it's from Japan actually, not China, but those robots they shooting threes. Next, they're going to be reffing. It's just a matter of time.
They got them kicking field goals too.
Yeah,
I've seen those.
Yeah. So here we go.
Yeah, that one the 3-point shooting one is creepy.
Yeah, no,
very creepy.
7 feet tall.
Let's,
okay, yes, we agree then, Colin. I agree.
Let's hit on quickly, because you put this COVID protocol change for vaccinated per CDC. The NBA just updated its COVID policy.
It's the same thing, same guidelines, yeah.
Yeah, so basically to reflect the CDC. So now vaccinated players, you can test out sooner, or just blanket, you can come back sooner.
If you're asymptomatic.
Which is huge. I mean, we don't want guys to be missing weeks and weeks and weeks on end if they feel fine. But we're seeing this affect, all these leagues are trying to update. The NFL collectively bargained to change their protocols because they wanted to throw a bone to vaccinated players. This is the whole stink Cole Beasley made. He's like, it's, the vaccinated players are treated no different than the unvaccinated players. So, what's the point? So they kind of wanted to nip that in the butt and say, well, you know what? Here's the science. If you're vaccinated, and you're asymptomatic, we're not going to test you, and you're fine. Now, that does mean that you can be infecting people. So the NFL is now taking the stance of, we're just not going to look. Because they don't want to see 90 cases.
This is kind of going, these new regulations are kind of going along with what you exactly just said, where, 5 days now, it's like 2 days before you get the symptoms is when you can spread it, or 3 days, typically 2 to 3 days after. That's just based on what we know from data. And that's scientists. I don't really care about Twitter and all the other conspiracies. That's just based on the science that we have and that everybody has access to. So those 5 days, if you're asymptomatic in those 5 days after you test positive, you can just test out after the 5 days. And I think you just have to wear a mask for 5 days after.
Yeah.
So there's different ways to work around this, but we're seeing leagues having to navigate this, and this is going to help vaccinated players, like you said.
Yeah. Because right now, I think what we're seeing is if you're vaccinated, if you're getting symptoms, if you are getting symptoms, it's mild. And if you had to collectively bargain this in the NFL, same with the players in the NBA. If you're okay saying, listen, we're not going to test everybody. So you could have vaccinated people who are contagious, and you might not know. Are you cool with that? If they all say, yes, we're fine. We'd rather not test everybody, and guys who are completely feel healthy have to sit out or have to have games postponed because of it. We'd rather not have that happen than assume whatever sort of risk, because guys feel like, well, I'm vaccinated, my family's vaccinated, we don't care.
Well, we kind of saw an example of this, didn't we? When did Kendrick Bourne go on COVID? Beginning of the week, and I think he was back by the game. So
yeah,
and he was asymptomatic, and I think that was 5 days. So it's like It's kind of what we're seeing, and now it makes more sense that way. Like if guys are not, feeling any type of way, no symptoms really at all, and they pop up positive, it makes sense that 5 days or 6 days, whatever it is, they can just test out
for that industry.
Exactly.
Where you're in the business of showing up, that I don't think that this necessarily will apply everywhere or should apply everywhere.
No, but these are high level athletes in great shape and all that stuff. So, and they're and look, this is for vaccinated players.
Yes,
whom most of which we know. Obviously, there will be outliers like Karl Anthony Towns and stuff. Maybe that was before vaccination, but that will have symptoms and not feel great. Like that's just the way it is. But a lot of these guys, even the hockey, I saw Brad Marchand's press conference. If you want to go there, he was in COVID protocol. He said, I had a stuffy nose. It was no big deal. Headache. That was it. And he was done. So there's going to be more science and more data that comes out on this to allow players to either get back sooner. If you're vaccinated, you'll not be tested as often, whatever it is. I mean, they're going to kind of change these things on the fly.
Yep. So that's what's going on in the major leagues. College football is also feeling this. And for them, straight up cancellations. We've already had a number of the bowl games. Just, nope, not happening. Either both teams can't play or one team can't play. So obviously there's no bowl. That's it. Season's over. No game. This coming weekend, you will have Alabama-Cincy, Cotton Bowl, and Michigan-Georgia, college football playoff. And I'd say there's got to be a decent amount of concern about these games happening. Just because you think about how many people are on a football team. You're traveling. Are they locking these guys down? I mean, we're not talking about like a bubble here. So this is a much different scenario. And so this is what the college football playoff management committee put out this week regarding the games. The playoff games. So it updated its policies last week for the National Championship and the Cotton Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, Orange Bowl, and Peach Bowl. Should any team be unable to compete in those games? During the playoff semifinals, a team that doesn't have enough players will forfeit, and its opponent will advance to the National Championship game in Indianapolis. The championship game, currently scheduled for January 10th, can be rescheduled as late as January 14th. At that point, any team unable to play will forfeit, leaving the other as the national champion. If neither team can play, then the game shall be declared no contest, and the entire college football national championship will be vacated for this season. That would suck.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no other way to put it. Obviously, it's not an ideal situation, but here we are again. Kind of a year later, similar situation, but different. But you can tell the differences in between leagues, right? I mean, college to NFL. There's not really cancellations in the NFL. They're just calling guys up, but in college, you don't really have that luxury. So it's kind of like, well, I don't know. I'm not going to go into what I think the rules should be because it's just like a recipe for disaster. But canceling games sucks. I mean, it is what it is, especially for college athletes, especially like you're looking at seniors. This is their last year. It's a different situation than the NFL where you're coming back next year.
Yeah. So hopefully that doesn't happen. It's a long time between now and those games happening. So hopefully they do happen. And I'm excited. I mean, in the end, I'm really rooting for like it to be Cincy, Georgia. I know it's not going to happen, but I think that would be
crazy
good.
Like that.
It would be good.
Yeah,
because you just want to see some new blood finally. That was the whole point of having a playoffs. Oh, let these teams, let the games decide it. Yet somehow, why is it always Alabama?
Yeah.
So that will lead us now, Christian, into our final item of the night, which is our picks for Week 17. Can we believe that? Week 17. How is that happening?
Miami's up 7-0, by the way.
Early goings.
And they have New Orleans at their own 4th and 19 or something, so it's not great.
Let's go ahead. I want to...
Week 17. All right, I got it whenever you're ready.
I want to update...
I threw my season away
standings.
Much like the Patriots this past week.
Let's see. Atlanta did beat Detroit. Cincy, we both had. The Rams. New England, no. Jacksonville Jets. I actually forget who won. I didn't pay attention.
I have no idea. I think the Jets?
New York Jets. Yeah, because I think I saw something about the Jaguars had it in their hands and then lost it. Yeah, Jets won 26-21. So you picked the Jets and it paid off, Christian. How about that?
That's my money team when I need them.
Eagles showed up big time. I thought that the Giants might have their number. Seattle. Oh my God. Talk about. So know how we've had this whole discussion about when to go for it and when not to go for it. Go for 2 for the win. When you're Chicago and you're having a crap season and you got Nick Foles and you lead a comeback, it's like, you know what? This year, go for it. We don't want to play overtime. We just want to win this game and get the heck out of here. Yeah. That's when you go for 2. All right? And so it paid off for them. And
Nick
just
Foles.
What another just demoralizing loss for Seattle. I mean, I really, if it wasn't evident earlier, we talked about, it is more likely, Christian, I think, that Dan Campbell is coaching the Lions next year than Pete Carroll coaching the Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm not going to even take a bet on that because I think you're probably right. And also Russell Wilson's probably out of town. I think Seattle, as we know Seattle, it's going to be very different next year.
Yeah.
Or it could be.
Well, I think they just got to they have to hit a major reset. And they could do it quick. They could do what the Patriots did. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Trade Russell Wilson, get some picks, sign a veteran quarterback to come in and lead you for a year, get a new head coach, let him implement a system, and then go after somebody the year afterwards who could be a quarterback that's available on the market, or maybe trade for somebody. Hey, maybe a guy like Derek Carr, who's probably going to be out of Las Vegas. And the Raiders did beat the Broncos yesterday. And we both picked Denver. Did Dallas win?
Did Washington show up yesterday?
How about that? Did you see the fight on the sideline?
Yeah, that was going to be one of my knots if that guy didn't throw a pass into a fan.
I've seen like some sideline scuffles. I don't. It's been a while since we saw something like that where you thought there's gonna be a fight, a legitimate throwdown fight between teammates.
They were teammates in college too, supposedly. I think anyway.
It's just been boiling under the surface. There's been bad blood the whole time.
Ever since being my roommate in college.
All right, so Miami at New Orleans happening right now. But we both picked Miami, so no skin in that fight. Let me just update this one thing. And we actually broke even, Christian.
Wow.
8-8 because for me, I had the Cardinals. You had the Colts. And you got the double whammy. Jets and Eagles beating the Jaguars and Giants. So you were able to salvage.
The fact that you took the Jaguars and the Giants, we should break even.
Hey, you thought you were giving games away when we made those picks.
I definitely gave one away in the Chiefs game. I'll tell you that much.
Kansas City, Pittsburgh, yes. Again, Kansas City, I think, really starting to show that they are who we thought they were. They've become the Chiefs we expect them to be. So on to Week 17, not the last week because now we have 18 weeks. But
good job.
Let her rip.
Add another game and call taunting penalties. What a league. Atlanta at Buffalo.
At Buffalo. As much as I would love for the Atlanta Falcons to find a way to win this game, it ain't happening. Buffalo.
Yeah, Buffalo. The Giants at the Bears. Game of the year. Duh, Bears.
Yeah, I'll take Chicago just because Nagy could get fired still today, tomorrow. Oh my God, Colin says, college roommates like Hernandez and Tebow.
Yikes.
Wouldn't have wanted to see that sideline fight.
No, definitely not. Yeah.
I'm gonna pick Chicago. I mean, even though they could fire Nagy today because they want to get ahead on the coaching thing, I don't think he saved his job, so I kind of don't know what they're waiting for. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bears. Yeah, I can't pick the Giants. I think the Giants are just horrible.
Even though they committed to Dan Jones and Joe Judge for another year.
Another mediocre year, or in the can. Let's go. Kansas City at Cincy. This could be a good game. If the Cincinnati shows up that played like last week, this could be a game. Joe Burrow is legit. I mean, he's fun to watch, man.
Every big game, and I know last week was a big game, but the Ravens are just so depleted. Every hey, show it to me, Bengals. So show it to me, Cincy game this year. They've been a letdown. So I am gonna go KC. KC's on a roll. Can't pick.
Yeah, I'm going KC as well. I just think this has the potential at least be a respectable game, especially in Cincinnati. But it depends on which Bengals team shows up.
If the Bengals win this, it does upset the standings a lot because now you have a real scramble for that number 1 seed.
Yeah.
Next,
Miami at Tennessee.
Tennessee. Comeback victory versus the 49ers. I am going to pick Tennessee.
I'm going to take the Dolphins. Why not? I think they're kind of I like Tennessee. I think if Tennessee gets Derrick Henry back, they're probably a team to beat in the playoffs still. But right now, Miami's kind of rolling. That'll be a true test because they haven't really played anybody that great. But I want to see what that looks like. So especially, playoff implication for the Pats. So, yeah, I'll take Miami.
All right.
Must win for both teams, kind of, though, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
And then Vegas at Indy, another kind of – all these teams are close right now. It's coming down to the wire. All these games kind of matter, so. Indy.
Yeah.
With that being said, I mean, still, the Raiders are still in it somehow. They're 8-7, but.
They are, but they also, they're not – they're, scrapping by, and I just think the Colts – they're not having Carson Wentz have to do a whole ton, and they're just doing it with defense and with their running game. And they are right now, I think, what we thought the Patriots would be, which was running game, a real stout defense, and, hey, only ask your quarterback to make a couple of plays a game. Their defense has proven to be better. And obviously, the Patriots have the running game, but if you're falling behind, you can't really lean on that as much. So
yeah, the Indy team has a lot of talent.
Anyway, next.
Jacksonville in New England.
Uh,
I'll let you go first on this one.
well, I got to tell you, I saw that new Subway commercial with Trevor Lawrence, and it's really making me want to pick the Patriots this week.
Yeah, that sandwich doesn't look that good.
New England. I mean, this would be losing this game. If you're New England, then they have even no matter what the odds say, right? Like, well, they're still alive. They could win next week in Miami and be in. If you lose this game to Jacksonville, then your heart is dead. Then
no Judon, no Bentley though. Maybe.
Nah, I look at this like
And
the
who
way
knows who else.
I can't. No, I can't pick Jacksonville. I can't.
No,
I'm
no,
not.
no.
I'm not gonna do it. Can't do it.
Yeah, I'm taking the Patriots.
Can't do it.
Tampa at the Jets.
Yes.
My reaction as well. Philadelphia at Washington.
I'm gonna go Philly. I mean, you can't.
Yep.
Washington clearly, like, I think they had a lot of fight all year long, and then what happened last night is just a absolute just dismantling. And maybe they can get up for this Eagles game to be home and play spoiler, but I can't in good faith watch what I watched last night and say the Eagles could replicate a lot of that offensively. So the Washington might not get shut down offensively, but that defense is in for a day.
Yeah, I'm going Eagles. Washington is not. They are not it. Rams at Baltimore.
Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Baltimore is falling apart.
They are in a major tailspin right now. So Rams. Okay, then we're going to Denver at the Chargers.
I will pick the Chargers tentatively. I don't like it.
Now wait, the Chargers just lost to Houston, but then they play Denver, and you're going to pick the Chargers?
Yeah.
Okay. Just
Yeah.
check. All right, I'm picking the Chargers as well.
Because I do think that it's the same thing, like that they have to bounce back, right? I mean, tough game against Kansas City, and then you just looks like you let go of the rope a little bit. Everybody's
Well, they're
had
the
a
same
bad
team
day.
as last year, so maybe not. Who knows? I mean, they've only won 4 more games, so.
This would be telling. You'll lose this game if you're the Chargers. That's yikes.
Yeah, bad loss.
Maybe you aren't any different if you lose this game. So
Houston at San Fran.
Niners need to stay alive. But is Jimmy G going to be out? I just saw that he is going
to be out, yes.
So who is starting? What is starting?
Knows?
Is it going to be
I don't think they start.
Or
Got to be
where's my brain
Beathard?
going?
Is it Beathard? I don't know. Who's the third guy there?
It might still be Beathard.
Sudfeld. Nate Sudfeld is probably, I would guess he's starting maybe Trey Lance, but I don't know. We saw Trey Lance. He's definitely not ready, so.
I know. But, hey, you throw him in and say, it is what it is. Don't worry about it. Just go out there and play. I don't know. I will still pick the Niners. They're at home. They should be the better team. Beathard can certainly, if he starts, he can certainly manage it.
It'd be Sudfeld.
Or Sudfeld. Both of them. Sudfeld can certainly manage it. So.
I thought Beathard was still there. I don't know where the hell he is now, but whatever.
I'll still take San Fran at home.
I'm going to take Houston.
Alrighty. For realsies?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's have some fun.
Why not? Let's get weird.
I'm here to throw my season away. Let's go.
Throw your season away? I mean, you're up 4. 134, 130.
Listen, I tried to give you some help, and then you picked the Giants and the other crap team, Jacksonville. So, I don't know. I'm trying here. Arizona at Dallas.
Dallas. I mean, I just don't think Arizona. It's something wrong. I mean, I know no DeAndre Hopkins hurts, but they just don't have the same spark. And I do think this could be a dangerous game for Dallas because they've proven to be a team that gets really high on themselves and then kind of comes down to earth. But the Cardinals are just in a weird
It's
spot
got to be
right now.
heartbreaking for you, isn't it? Didn't you pick them to be in the Super Bowl?
I did 8 weeks ago.
Yeah, a lot has changed in that 8 weeks. Jeez.
So after what I saw last night from Dallas, it's hard to pick against them. And even though I think the Cardinals should be able to win this game and at least make it competitive, Dallas at home, I got to think the way the Cardinals are in their straits right now, they could find a way to get this done.
The real problem with picking these games is no team goes on a week-to-week basis. They all play as good as you can one week and then suck the next, so you never know. But I'm going Dallas anyway.
Yeah. No, it's totally plausible. Arizona just rights the ship. Dallas plays like absolute garbage after blowing out Washington, and that's what happens. That is totally conceivable. It's not out of the realm of possibility. But for now, I'm picking them.
We've got a lot of games, no bye weeks. So Carolina at New Orleans.
New Orleans. A game with no quarterbacks.
Cam Newton benched again.
A game with no quarterbacks. A game with 5 quarterbacks, but no quarterbacks.
I'd still probably take Sam Darnold over something the Saints have. But I don't know. Who knows who's back next week? But I'll still take New Orleans.
All right.
Detroit at Seattle.
Oh, God. The fact that this is even a tough game just tells you how far Seattle's fallen. I'm going to take the Lions. Why not?
Damn it, I was going to do that. I'll take Seattle.
Sorry to ruin your fun, Christian.
You ruined all my fun. I wanted the Lions. I'll take Seattle. I still, at home, they'll probably lose, whatever. But
well, at home, Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson, tough to bet against.
Yeah, right. And so much for that. That ship has sailed.
The ship is burned.
Minnesota at Green Bay Sunday night.
I am gonna pick Minnesota only because I saw how hobbled Aaron Rodgers was, and I just think the Vikings have a better defense. They're better suited, I think, than the Browns were to attack that. And I just can't. It's tough. Green Bay should be loads better. I just got a feeling about Minnesota in this game. Rodgers is like limping around the whole field, and I think it's can't be sustainable. I worry about it, but Minnesota taking a chance.
Yeah, Green Bay at home, 7-0 at Lambeau. They have some semblance of a defense this year, which is kind of a nice change from years past, where they just get shredded by Tom Brady. And by years past, I mean last year. But yeah, I like the Packers still. In the regular season, that is. Cleveland at Pittsburgh on Monday night.
Yikes. Primetime game. Season career maybe on the line for Ben Roethlisberger. I'll pick Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh. Put Cleveland out of their misery.
Yeah, this is a tough game. Tough one to pick. In Pittsburgh, the Browns kind of suck. I don't know. I'll take Pittsburgh, even though they kind of suck too. But in Pittsburgh, Baker Mayfield throwing 4 picks all over the place. I'd rather take Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And that is a wrap, my friend.
That is it.
That is all the games of the week. week.
Week 17. So 4 different. Miami, Tennessee. You got the Dolphins. I got the Titans. Houston at San Fran. I got the Niners. You got the Texans. Detroit at Seattle. I got the Lions. You have Seattle. And then Minnesota at Green Bay. Vikings for me. Pack for you. So, Christian, before we wrap things up here, any final words here on this edition, the 102nd edition of the show? Celtics up 46-45, by the way, and end of the second quarter, late stages second quarter.
Just a couple Celtics thoughts for you, actually, as we close here. One guy I'd like to see get some more time here. Now he kind of is, but he also gets taken out in random spots. Is Peyton Pritchard. I feel like he's kind of giving you a spark here, since guys have gone on the COVID list and all of that stuff. Marcus Smart punches something again, and who knows what he did. But Peyton Pritchard is kind of giving you a spark down the end of the bench, and I feel like he needs some more playing time. And number 2, I feel like the coach needs to switch things up here, meaning give some different guys a look. Now, I think he's kind of forced to right now, but rather than too much Dennis Schroeder, like, give me more Peyton Pritchard, give me more Grant Williams, guys like that are kind of making an impact.
Well, they need to get healthy. I mean, Willikers needs to get back.
Yes, definitely true.
They missed him on Saturday.
And no freedom. So they have some COVID issues. They have some injury issues. But I'd like to see some guys get a chance that haven't really. Maybe even Aaron Nesmith. I don't know what you have in him. But especially Pritchard. Pritchard's the guy I look at right now that says I think he's probably playing about as well as anybody on the team. And he gets taken out in random spots where he's playing well. So outside of that, they kind of suck. They're kind of the same team. I really think they're like very, very vanilla in their very last year. It's the same things creeping up, and that's where I'll end it.
I want
nice Celtics frustration.
Well, in that vein, I want to find. I saw. Let's see. Maybe it's this. I saw this morning a headline about this blockbuster trade could land Damian Lillard in Boston, which I know this is something we've debated. I want to see in what this latest one that got floated out, and I don't even think they do. They just say this blockbuster trade and don't even list out. And I know we've debated. I do think there's going to be a change. There has to be a change.
They have to do something.
Because in 2 weeks here, middle of January, is when guys like Robert Williams, who I really like, guys like Marcus Smart, who I think are important guys on a championship team, but maybe has just run his course here, can all be moved. So I do think there will be change. I cannot fathom Brad Stevens in his first year here, who's already proven that he's willing to shake things up and willing to make moves and deal, and he's not just going to sit around and wait for ping pong balls the way that Danny Ainge did, is just going to sit there at the team's 18-18 and say, this is fine. Yeah, let's just ride it out and just lose any chance at getting anything for some of these guys. Let's see. Okay, here's this trade. Boston Celtics received. This is going to be one of these massive trades. Damian Lillard, C.J. Ellaby, Ben McLemore, Tony Snell, and Cody Zeller. The Trailblazers receive Al Horford, Dennis Schroeder, Peyton Pritchard, Aaron Nesmith, Juancho Hernan Gomez, and then a slew of picks. A giant amount of picks. Would the Trailblazers take that? I don't know. I think if you are Boston and could do that, I think maybe you do. Maybe. Even though I don't like the idea. I mean, you get to keep Jalen and Jason, and now you add Damian Lillard. I just don't know necessarily what that does. I don't know what that does to you. Like, the biggest problem with this team has been late game offense. How does Damian Lillard help you move the ball, spread the floor, execute better?
He might make some shots down the stretch. I don't know how he does that.
Maybe. I mean, maybe just having that extra guy, now, like, everything is open for all three of those guys. You've really got a three-headed monster. But also, what does that do to your defense? I mean, for better or worse, Al Horford has been like their best player this year. And I don't think anybody expected that, but they have really missed him since he's been out. He should be back tonight. I got to imagine he's back tonight with all the guys that are out. And he's got 7 points, 4 assists, 6 rebounds in 15 minutes. That's just he's at least to this team this year, he's an integral piece. Honestly, if I was going after Damian Lillard this year, I think I'd honestly rather trade Time Lord and keep Al Horford. I know that sounds crazy, but I'd rather sell high on Time Lord because we all know he's just one extra, ankle tweak away from being out for the year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been a no on Damian Lillard. I don't think that that's the answer. I think this team is kind of stuck and just has to maybe do something to shed some things and just let Jalen and Jason continue to play and
they need some change.
Go through these ups and downs together. What I want is whatever is going to get Jalen and Jason to grow together. If they know internally that that's just impossible, then yes, shake it up and trade one of them. Don't wait. Make a trade now to bring in the right star to pair with Tatum. But if those two guys can, whatever's going to maximize their ability to grow, because they're both all-stars. They are budding superstars. If you can keep them together and they can continue to improve, not just individually, but together on the court, I want to do whatever is going to facilitate that. That's what I want. I don't know if trading all of that stuff, a bag of picks and salary, is going to get you Damian Lillard and that fixes everything. I don't think it will. So, if it happens, hey, I'd be excited. It's something different. We get to see what it looks like. But, I don't think that's any different than if you brought Kyrie back.
Maybe it gets them like a few wins more, but I'm kind of itching for change here. So I don't know if maybe that's what gets it done. Maybe change is good for them as well. I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily has to be Dame Lillard or anything like that, but I do think they need some level of change here. It's just not working. Whatever they're doing here with this group is just not working. It's been the last 3 years, right? The same core guys. So
yeah. So we'll see. I mean, that stuff's going to start heating up in the next week or so as NBA trade buzz and deadline buzz, and all that. So that will do it for this edition of the 360 Sports Show. If you missed the live stream here, you can go back and watch it on any of our platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Just follow at 360 Sports Show. And if you want, you can take us on the go by subscribing to the podcast on your favorite podcast platform or by directly subscribing on Sounder. Just look for the 360 Sports Show. So that'll do it, folks. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Andrew Pizzelli. He's Christian Lauber. Have a great week, everybody.
See you later.